Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the VIP subscriber donation race. It's a mouthful there, but basically a race that we're doing here with Champion Motorsports to say thank you to everyone that makes it possible for us to have such a phenomenal community. And we are going to broadcast a 60-minute race for these amazing members of our community this morning as they drive Miatas and Toyota GR86s in anger. I'm joined by Ryan Thompson, and Ryan, I know I'm excited about this. How about you?
Oh yeah, this is going to be a fun one. These cars seem to be pretty similar in pace in some spots.
You know, they do, and as part of that, I think we could see either of these two as the overall winner. Um, which is interesting. We've got them in two different production car classes, which is the way that we do this race. And this is our third annual to do it. And there's two Miatas out in front of the GR86 you can see here on the grid. So as the guys take the uh, uh, pace lap around, and I don't know if I can say this properly, the name of this track. Maybe you can help me out with it, Ryan. But I don't know how to pronounce it exactly. A Fun Track Motorsport is in the name, right? And Rudskogen or something like that. So I'm sure I'm butchering that, but really cool new track in iRacing too that I'm excited to watch some racing on.
Yeah, same here. I don't think I can help you out with the pronunciation much. I'd go with something like Rudskogen or something, but
Rudskogen,
my
yeah, that sounds pretty. That sounds better than how I Rudskogen Motorsport. Uh, and it's just in a beautiful setting, real world track, and they just modeled it. A few months ago, I think, in the sim, and gave it away as included base member content, which is fantastic. So the guys are coming around here to start. Just a really quick kind of preview of what what we're expecting. We've got four Toyota GR86s. That's Matteo Sceptura, Mark Leclerc, who is last year's defending winner in one of the classes, David James, and Bud Holmes. Those will be our GR86 drivers. In the Miatas, we've got Cameron Barker, Michael Parker, Pierre Robitaille, Neil Sutherland, Danny LePage, Wayne Hutchinson, and Brett Tosin. The two Miatas are out on the front of the front row, and you see the one GR86 in there, but they are driving in separate classes, so we will follow them as two separate classes, and you will see that, of course, here on the standings as well in the broadcast, and should be fun. They both turn a similar lap time, as Ryan said, and it's going to be fun to watch these things. Ryan, looks like they'll go ahead and go green here. Here they come. I think they're going to be pretty close together throughout this race.
It's looking like it.
It's like Cameron Barker leads us down in here into turn one, followed closely by Michael Parker. And then we've got Matteo Sceptura, who narrowly missed out on the win last year at Daytona. We had this race last year, and he had a heck of a battle in his class and came up just a little bit short, I believe, to Mark Leclerc. And of course, so we get to see the rematch of that race here this week. Mark, though, having to start in the back of the field. Nice clean start from the guys.
Yeah, already single file, just about right at turn one almost.
Yeah, riding on board here with Michael Parker as he tries to keep his little Miata wound up and chase Cameron Barker around the track with a little bit of pressure from that GR86 behind him. I know Michael in the real world has one of these cars. He drives or races, I should say, a Miata in a lot of SCCA events. So, car that he's absolutely very familiar with, both in the real world and in iRacing. So it'll be interesting to see how he can wheel it around. But Cameron has obviously brought his A game and going to be right there with him.
Yeah, and these cars, the draft is very strong as well. So I think we could see some bumper to bumper matchups for the next hour.
Yeah, we absolutely could. If we look back a little further, you can see here, it's not too much further, but that's where we've got Matteo Sceptura here. And it'll be interesting to see, my gut feeling is the GR86, if, could possibly run a little faster lap time. That's what I was telling myself, but I could be wrong on that. The Miata is just so nimble and such a well-raced car, but it'll be interesting to see if he's able to get around these two. And it's kind of a three-car breakaway right now. If we go back a little bit further, you can see our fourth-place driver, who's actually the podium in the Miatas. So P3 in the Miatas is Pierre Robitaille in his wild-looking, amazing Miata here that stands out and jumps off the screen that we always like to talk about. Pierre kind of by himself at the moment.
Bringing the Christmas sweater to a fresh chassis.
Yeah, I think he's just going to hang those Christmas lights all year long at this point, Ryan.
Yeah, well, it's been 2 years running now.
Yeah, looking good though. He's by himself. Neil Sutherland. I know Neil was really excited about this race. He's back here just a little bit further. Neil is brand new to iRacing, and that's the really cool thing with this too, is that we get our members have the opportunity to run so many different sims here at CMS, and then they get invited to this race, and then of course we have to do the race on one platform, and we've chosen to do it on iRacing since it's just so accessible. So Neil, I believe this is his first iRacing event that he's running in, and so it's just great to see him out here. And last year we had a first-time iRacer, Mark Leclerc, win the race. And here's Mark. He is not having quite the repeat of last year, though. This week in preparation, he made a comment that he hadn't fired up iRacing since last year's race where he won the trophy. So, I believe Mark spends most of his time in Assetto Corsa Competition and some of the other sims, R Factor and whatnot, and he didn't get a whole lot of practice for this, but that wasn't the purpose of this. Was to pound a whole bunch of laps. It's more of a thank you and a feel good event, and I'm just glad he's out here. It'll be interested to see if he can change his position and move up through the field. He's in a pretty good battle with Bud Holmes here just ahead of him. Bud here in this really cool orange and white GR86 himself. So good to see Bud out here as well. And we got a lot of guys. I kind of want to make sure we hit everybody here at the beginning. We'll just kind of work our way up through the field. Brett Trossen here in his Miata here today, and want to thank Brett for all his tremendous support. He's looking to catch the next pack of Miatas up there. We've got Wayne Hutchinson here in this orange Miata. Great looking car. It's didn't know that Wayne was racing for the Dog Bear team, but it looks like he is. A team we see quite a bit, Ryan, on our Wednesday night series.
Absolutely.
Yeah, this is a great looking Miata here. I love the color of this thing.
Oh, I'm a sucker for orange cars.
Yeah, orange race cars is just, and with that black is just a really good looking car here that he's got. And I don't know if Wayne is, I didn't think he was part of the Dog Bear team. I may have that incorrect. Maybe he is, and if so, my apologies. But Wayne, a long-time iRacer, and little known fact about Wayne, he's one of the main admins for the Major Series, which we love and support here at CMS. We run some cars in their Team Endurance Championship there, and Wayne is one of the key admins along with Mike and the other guys over at Majors, and he also is very active here at CMS, runs in our R Factor 2 series on the weekends, and it's just great to see him here. Danny LePage just ahead of him in this Miata as well. Another great looking car. Looks like he's got VRS as his sponsor, so hopefully he's using some of their services to improve his lap times. Ryan, are you a VRS guy? You use any of the telemetry stuff in iRacing and some of those things?
I don't. I do have their wheelbase, but I just use Motec for my telemetry.
Yeah, and how do you like the wheelbase?
It,
I've always been curious about that thing.
it's really good. I actually had it's the same motor as the OSW Open Sim Wheel platform that I had, uh, but their polish that they put on it just means you can take it home, put it on your rig, plug it in, and go,
And
which
go,
is
yeah.
fantastic compared to the OSW DIY nightmares you can have.
Right, and they absolutely have some great services they've packaged with it. Looks like here, as we are talking a little bit about Danny, he's under a little bit of pressure from one of the GR86 cars just behind him here. That is David James, who we had not talked about yet. So David, um, putting a little pressure here in the Red Bull GR86, looking good, and looks like he's now gotten around Wayne Hutchinson and is kind of moving on up through the field. So one of the bigger movers early here is David James. We talked about Neil Sutherland before, and that kind of, I think I have mainly hit everyone. So we'll go back up front here where we've got one hell of a battle between these three guys to start this thing. Ryan, they haven't been any further apart, these three cars, since we dropped the green flag here this morning.
Yeah, I'm showing less than a second between them all.
Yeah, absolutely.
It looks like they're pretty content to just run nose to tail here and get away from the pack behind and duke it out at the end, maybe.
Yeah, and they have already gapped the rest of the field by a decent little margin here. Let's see if I can give us a little bit more detail. It looks like there's about 12 seconds. Yeah, 12 seconds back to picking up Neil Sutherland. Now, what we don't know, and I think at least I don't know, but it's a 1 hour race. Will these cars have to pit? I don't know that they will. I think both of these cars will run an hour on a full tank of gas, but don't know if you know. But that's my guess at least.
Not offhand. I haven't done an hour-long race in a Miata in ages.
Yeah, I haven't done one that long in a Miata either in quite some time, but I did run in the 2.4 hours of the Roar before the 24 race in iRacing, and I drove the GR86, and it definitely could go over an hour. So
Okay.
I'm thinking that's what we're going to see here. Such a beautiful track. You're kind of winding your way through the mountains here, and just looks phenomenal.
Not sure about pit stops, but we might see somebody just pull over for a picnic here at some point.
Exactly. I mean, it is quite a spectacular setting. Really is. It's great to see them all. Everybody kind of quickly, got acclimated to the track.
Yeah, it's one of those twisty-turny ones where you look at the track map and go, "Oh boy."
Yeah, you do. It's a busy lap. You're turning quite a bit. You're really working your way through. A lot of up and down, and changing elevation, if you will, is what I'm looking for. And
Yeah.
Seems very technical. Track has a little bit of everything. It's got a couple of long straightaways. It's got a nice set of S's in it, some tight corners, and I think certainly a real test for sure.
Oh, definitely. These are very momentum-heavy cars. No aero, so you're going to be driving with your feet and trying to make it around these S's and tight bends without giving up too much track speed.
Right.
And maximize your exit in that last chicane, because that straight is about 1 billion miles long in these cars.
Yeah, it does. And, as we're talking about this, it looks like Matteo Sceptura now is getting a little impatient and starting to kind of look for how he might be able to make his way around Michael Parker. And Michael doesn't want to give that up because he just can't afford to give anything to Cameron Barker just ahead of him. But the the GR86 of these three is absolutely running the fastest lap times. As Cameron gets really wide there, coming off the last corner, you can tell he's really pushing. But looking at the lap times, the GR86, it almost feels like he is held up a little bit by these two guys.
Yeah, you might be right. And they are coming up on the back of Pierre Robitaille.
Yeah, they sure are. Pierre Robitaille is falling kind of backwards, whereas Marc Leclerc, who we talked about earlier, has really moved up quite a bit. And so it'll be interesting as they start to make their way through the field. You can see Pierre Robitaille just ahead of him now, and that's him. We're looking out of Cameron Barker's in-car here. You see Pierre Robitaille up ahead. When they get to Pierre's, where Michael might have his best chance to make a move. Boy, really sawing on the wheel in this Miata. Look at this thing.
That's how you do it.
Yeah, I have owned, and I still own one of these cars in my personal life, and done quite a bit of racing and autocrossing and track days in them before. I've owned a couple of them, and they are just so fun. And you can hear that tire squeal. He is driving this thing just like you drive a Miata. You got to keep it wound up, and it's a momentum car. And probably we got a little loose there. Michael has not been able to gain on him too much. But Cameron really driving it hard. It just gives you an appreciation seeing that in-car of how hard they are driving these things.
Absolutely. It seems like if you're not driving these cars to within an inch of your life, you're just giving up tons of time.
Absolutely. Let's go inside one of the GR86s. This is just behind them. This is Matteo. This is a new car that they've modeled in iRacing. And look, as we say that, he makes the move here. Matteo going to get alongside Michael Parker. He's going to make the move here, I think, going down into this corner. Pierre Robitaille lets everyone go, but Michael's going to have this position. Boy, Michael can't be liking this because all this is doing is letting Cameron Barker get a little further ahead.
Yep, probably just about out of draft range soon, if not already.
So they start to, Cameron starts to build a little bit of a gap. Let's go back a little bit further. We've got another good race going on here. This is Neil Sutherland, and he is sort of sandwiched in between a couple of the GR86s. You see David James just behind him, Wayne Hutchinson in the Miata, and then just ahead is Marc Leclerc. So here's Marc. We talked about him starting a little further back, but Marc is up into the 4th position. But boy, he's so far back from Matteo that really it's going to require Matteo to make a mistake for Leclerc to have a shot to get up there, I think.
Oh, and David James just going around the inside of Neil Sutherland.
Yeah, and let's see if we can't get a replay of that. Here it is right here. Nice pass. Well executed, right?
Very well.
And now we've got Wayne Hutchinson, you can see here now. That's going to let him into the picture with Neil Sutherland. And Wayne, a very experienced iRacer, and Neil in his first race. So that just says a lot about what Neil is doing out here. Neil in the white and purple Miata you see just ahead of Wayne here, and pretty impressive run for Neil in his first event that I'm aware of, at least. Actually,
Neil,
looking at his class, he's a rookie, right? Rookie 2.4 is what I see his rating.
Yeah, as far as I understand it, he just installed iRacing to come race here with us. So yeah, very well done. He comes to us from ACC, and has done lots of racing in the Monday chapter, I should say.
Right. And I mean, now he's kind of putting the pressure back on David James.
Yes, he is.
And now Wayne's going to kind of get into this party. So this is a really good battle. This is probably about certainly as good as the battle up front. These three cars, and then we're a little bit more spaced out after that. Pierre Robitaille, the first car who's fallen a lap down, who we saw earlier. Everyone else still on the lead lap. And this is really such an interesting race, Ryan, because we've got guys who are brand new to iRacing, and we got guys who are veterans of iRacing, right? And I think we're seeing that if you're a good racer, it sort of shows through no matter what you're racing.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. There is always a bit of a learning curve. The tire model's a little different. The things change a little bit, but for the most part, all these guys are able to just run enough laps to get proficient with whatever sim they're in and learn where that limit is, and then ride it for an hour long.
Right, and if anything, you got to adjust a little bit to some of the tire models and maybe differences in feel for things like force feedback. But iRacing and ACC as an example, or even R Factor 2, all three of them are just such great sims in their own ways, and a lot of similarities that I think once you kind of get the fundamentals down and spend at least a little bit of time getting acclimated, tune your settings across each one of them. They're pretty interchangeable.
Yeah, absolutely.
So no change up front here. Still the same order as before. And looks like Brett Trosen may be on pit road. I'm not sure what happened to Brett here. I'll see if I can't figure out what has happened to him.
I could get you an update on that if you want.
Yeah, and I may be able to go to the events. I think I see it, actually. It looks like he may have had an accident right here, Ryan. Let's see what happened. Well, actually, that's just him coming into the pits. So I'm not sure what happened before that. But definitely slow and into the pits. You can see him here. Car doesn't look too bad.
In fact, I'm not seeing any. I'm back 4 laps now, and I haven't seen anything.
Maybe he's got a technical issue or something, but he's on pit road. Maybe. It does look like Pierre Robitaille may have had a problem. Here's Pierre. And he was just slow. This wasn't a problem so much. It was just we saw this earlier. This was Pierre just letting the guys go. He didn't want to be part of that train as they came through. So Brett, he's still on pit road, so maybe he might be fighting some sort of a technical issue. You never know. He's been on pit road now for about 3.5 minutes.
Yeah, it must be something. There's nothing race-wise that would have made him stop.
Yeah, that we can see. So he seems to be our first car that is having trouble. Pierre Robitaille did spend some time on pit lane himself earlier in the race, and we've got everyone else has been out so far without any issue. Well, it is going to be interesting to see if Matteo just gets to where he can't stand being behind this Miata another second. Although, in his case, there's no real need for him to take any risk because he's got a 20-second gap. As Michael gets really wide, Matteo looks like he's got a shot here. But that Miata pulls out of that corner. Maybe a little torquier,
Yeah, I mean, you're right. He's got about a 20-second gap to Mark behind him. So there's no real pressure for him to get around here.
Right, there's no real pressure, and he can just kind of ride it out. Here's our best race on the track. This is Wayne Hutchinson, Neil Sutherland. We talked about them earlier, and Wayne right on Neil now all of a sudden. So David James has pulled away from them a little bit. So David went around them. You can see him just ahead in the GR86 in this beautiful landscape of a circuit. Just phenomenal looking track. I've not turned a lap here yet, Ryan, but I think I'm going to have to after watching this thing.
You and me both.
Yeah, I might just get out here and hot lap a little bit before the weekend's up. Boy, Wayne is just right there. This is a hell of a race between these two.
Yeah, welcome to iRacing, Neil.
Oh, Wayne's going to send it in here. I love it. Watch him here from a little bit of a drone view while I chase him around the track. Wayne got right up on Neil a few corners ago, and so much so that I think he may have had to kind of hit the brakes a little harder than normal and fell back here just a little bit. But these things are pretty much making an identical lap time. Neil's last lap, 37.3, and Wayne also with a 37.3. So just identical lap times that these guys are turning.
That's great. It's
he's
Wayne
there.
coming up right on the back of him now.
Yeah.
Making sure he knows he's there.
Wayne driving it a little deeper than Neil. It looks like into the corner, and maybe a byproduct of him being a little bit more experienced with the sim. But Neil is calm, cool, and collected here. He's got ice water through his veins, that's for sure. He is not wavering at all from the pressure that he's getting. It's interesting too. The way that we do this race is, and this is our third year now to have this race. Where a little bit of background for those that may tune in, we do here at CMS Champion Motorsports. Everything is donor driven. We don't necessarily. We do have some series that are that do have a paid entry fee, but that's the exception. Most everything is community run. We don't have any big sponsor obligations, and it's a community-driven league. And within that, we have a donation drive, as Wayne looks like he's going to try to make a move here. But I don't think he's going to be in the position he needs to be here going around this corner, so he's going to have to wait just a little bit longer. But at any rate, we have a donation drive that runs from the fall through about the beginning of January, and then anyone who participates any amount of money into that donation drive to help us with our fees and expenses gets invited to this race, where we have a lot of fun with it. We have a couple of trophies. It's usually with content that is pretty accessible to everybody. So like in this case, Neil Sutherland being able to get in here in iRacing for the first time and run this race for $0, on his part. It's free content within iRacing. It's a free track, a free car, and as long as you have a trial, you can set up and race without any big commitment. So third year to do it in a row, and it's been really fun to do. What we also do during the week, Ryan, is have kind of a week-long qualifying that kind of leads up to it. So the guys, we set this up in a tournament format, and guys get to spend 3 different sessions in the week leading up to the race today here, setting their time for gridding up. And it tends to be really important where you start this race based on, these being production cars, and they're not, going to pull out and draft past and pass each other, on power. So, where you start really is important in this race.
Definitely. And, today might be the main event, but the qualifying, I know a lot of the guys were just having a lot of fun with that by itself already. So nice to, have something that is sort of spread out over the week, and chance to get on Discord and talk about lap times and setups and so forth.
Exactly. And as I say that, I come back up here. Matteo Scriptura finally has gotten around Michael Parker. So rode around him as long as he could handle it. And let's see if we could take a look at this. Here's, I think, going to be the pass right here. I've gone back. This is where it looks like it happens. Michael gets a little wide, and he may have finally just given it to Mateo. I don't know. We're going to watch this unfold. We've gone back here a little bit replay-wise. See if Michael makes a mistake or... It looks like this was them battling a little bit, and then it looks like this may actually be the pass. Had to go a little further in things to see. It looks like he finally is going to be able to get it to stick down here. Yeah. There's where he makes the pass.
Yeah, Michael was just a little bit wide in that couple turns back there.
Yeah.
Just left the door open just enough.
So what that's allowed to happen here now is Cameron Barker now has about a 3-second lead on Parker and about a half-second lead here on Skeptura. So, you know, I know there'll be bragging rights. Both of these two guys, these are the guys right now in our trophy finishing positions, and that's the other thing we do in this race is award a really nice physical trophy for the winner of this event. We also, for anybody that donates $50 or more to CMS, we do a raffle, and so the raffle will be something that we'll do here in the next couple of days. I'll use a little generator to do a random draw, and we give away a couple of prizes to folks that contributed to the greater good, if you will. But these two, even though you see them here, you know, Cameron going by first and then Skeptura in second, you know they both want to win the overall race too, right?
Oh, definitely.
So it could get interesting if Mateo gets up here and has a shot to win this thing overall. We might see, and I think he's going to catch him. I just have a feeling he's going to catch him.
As friendly and as much camaraderie as we've got here at CMS, there is no way that either of these guys will be content with second when it's this close.
Right. And, you know, as we say that, now that he's gotten past Michael Parker, Skeptura has turned the fastest lap of the race. He ran a 33.929 last time by. That is the fastest lap of the race. So kind of like we thought, you know, once you can get it wound up and get it some space, this GR86 is certainly capable of maybe turning just a little bit faster lap time than the Miata.
It's really remarkable, though, how similar in pace they are. It doesn't seem to be a particular area where one of them excels, like, you know, straight line speed or turn-in or mid-corner. They seem to be almost dead even.
Absolutely. And, you know, again, here we are with these two guys. This hasn't changed. You know, turning identical lap times around the track. Literally, last time by a 36.7 for both of them. This is our best battle outside of the overall lead on the track, and we just passed about halfway. So these guys have got another 30 minutes to take care of their tires, take care of their stuff, figure out how they're going to get around each other. And I'm certainly enjoying covering it.
Take care of their stress level.
Yep. Don't get distracted with what Super Bowl snacks they might be having later today.
Right, yeah. Try not to get a sore neck from driving in your mirrors.
Exactly. And as we say that, I think we have had a change for the lead here. We sure have. I'm going to show it to you now. Here's a change for the lead. Here's Skeptura. This is Cameron Barker just ahead. And he's going to send it on him down here. And he made quick work of him that time. He spent enough time behind the Miatas that he said he was done with it. And when he got to the bumper of Cameron Barker, he was saying goodbye and good night.
Looks like he found another gear in that Toyota.
Sure does. Maybe, you know, burning some fuel out of this thing, and boy, he's holding a pretty wheel in this thing. Let's get inside the car here with him a little bit from the roll bar. Really smooth. You know, as we ride around with Mateo as well, I did figure out what happened with Mark Leclerc, who's the defending champion of one of the two defending champions, Mark Johnson, the other one who could not be here with us today. But Mark Leclerc, who we'll go back to, he actually made a pit stop, Ryan, on the first lap of the race. And not really sure why or what happened there, but he was in the pits. You know, maybe a penalty for speeding, or see if we can go back and look at that. Here he is. You can see him. This was him early in the race on pit road for not long, 10 or 15 seconds. I'm wondering if maybe he didn't fuel the car or something.
Oh, he was still on his quali setup, maybe?
Maybe so. See, this is here. Maybe he started from pit road. You can see Pierre Robitaille had come in as well. So right at the beginning of the race, these two guys. Pace car came off. The race started. I'm thinking he started from the pits for whatever reason. Maybe missed the start, and Pierre Robitaille pulled into the pits.
Not sure what's up with Pierre.
Yeah, let's go see if we could. Pierre's back in the pits. No, I'm sorry. This was earlier. Pierre back on track now. He's one lap down. I'm thinking maybe what happened there is Pierre may have not had the fuel in the car, and Mark, I'm thinking, may have intentionally or unintentionally started from the pits. This is we ride on board with Mark Leclerc now, but that's why he's 25 seconds back of Sceptura. Because the lap times he's turning are not that far off what Sceptura, Parker, and Barker are running.
Yeah, he's definitely got the pace.
Yeah, he definitely does. Our biggest mover in the race is David James, I believe. This is David again. Really cool looking GR86 that he's in. Love the dark colored with the red Red Bull. David having a really solid race, 5th position overall. He's kind of out by himself right now, but turning some nice laps. Looking really good, and our big battle is these two guys again. Look at Neil Sutherland sawing the wheel in this thing.
Oh yeah, I've been watching this on my screen. I can't take my eyes off it.
Yeah, this is definitely the best battle, the best race. These two are all over each other. Wayne is being very patient. Look, he's wanting around him though. Here he's thinking about it.
He's saying, "Look, Neil, I want to get around you."
These guys have got another 25 minutes of this too. I think this also just shows, you know, the quality of racing that we have here at CMS is just amazing.
Yeah, it is.
And it's all throughout the field, you know, which is really cool to be able to see guys, you know, of all skill levels. You know, these guys here, you know, they're having a well of a race, probably the best race in the event, and yeah, you'd think they were that they were running for the trophy here, as hard as these two are going at it. We really see Neil sawing away at his wheel. See kind of what Wayne's hands look like inside his car. A little smoother, maybe. A little less hand movement out of Wayne.
Maybe some gestures.
Yeah. Wayne going through these S's here. Nice and smooth, whereas you see Neil He's just a little more exaggerated with his wheel movement, sliding his car around perhaps a little bit more. Good stuff.
Yeah, you can really see they're taking very similar lines through most of these turns here, but seems like Neil has been kind of setting it up a little bit wider. He doesn't seem too concerned about Wayne getting around him at this point. It
Yeah.
seems like they're both settled into a rhythm here, and they're more working together more than anything.
Yeah, they are, and Wayne will peek out and show him something, but it's not knocking Neil off his game. That's for certain.
No, and if opportunity presents, I'm sure Wayne will go around, but he's in no particular hurry at this point.
Right. See, he kind of pulls up alongside him, but what Neil's doing too is just really making sure he's got the car in the right position.
Yeah.
So he's not giving a door that Wayne can go through, right?
Yeah, this is two examples of just really good racecraft here.
Absolutely. Just a phenomenal race with these two. Well, let's run through the field real quickly. Unfortunately, Brett Trosen is our first car to retire. In 10th position, we've got Pierre Robitaille, who we believe maybe had a fueling issue. We'll have to find out from Pierre afterwards. This is Pierre as we ride along with him. He is one lap down. Bud Holmes ahead of him in 9th position. Bud one lap down as well, but having a nice clean race on his part. Danny LePage in 8th position overall. And all of these positions I'm giving are in the overall setting, if you will. They've each got a class setting as well, and I'll call those out for the podiums. Danny also having a little bit on an island, but having a solid race. We know what's going on here as I come back to them, and they're just side by side. Wayne and Neil in 6th and 7th position overall in the race. And this is actually a battle, too, for the final podium spot in the MX5 category. Right now, Neil holding on to that, and I know Wayne wants a piece of it. So we've been on these two for a little bit. David James up a little bit further here. We talked about David earlier, really driving well. This has been probably our biggest mover. Mark Leclerc, defending champion and trophy winner from last year's race in the touring car. We ran at Daytona. We had a sports car and a touring car. He was in the I believe it was the Jetta that we ran, and he won that race last year, got the trophy, was really excited about it. Mark started from pit road today, so we think he had some sort of an issue, maybe missed the start, and but currently about 30 seconds behind, or 25 seconds or so behind Matteo Scaptura. Then we go to Michael Parker in 3rd overall, 2nd in the MX5 class. Cameron Barker has led from the drop of the green flag. And then Matteo Scaptura, who got around both of these Miatas to be our overall leader right now. And they've kind of spaced out here a little up front now, Ryan.
Yeah, still enough to see the guy in front, but well out of the draft at this point, so it would take a mistake up ahead to have a change in position, I would think.
Yeah, you can kind of see him here, these...
Sorry, Wade, I know I'm a lot slower on all the apexes here.
You can cut a little radio. A little bit of driver radio we had there with that was actually our buddies.
It was.
That was Neil Sutherland that we caught on the radio, and Neil, boy, he sounded calm. He was apologizing to Wayne.
Well, you said it, ice water in the veins, David.
Yeah.
Just a nice friendly back and forth from those two guys.
He apologizes to Wayne and says, "Wayne, I'm sorry I'm a little slow on the apexes, but you're not getting around me." I think these two drivers too are this is a good example of two guys quite a bit apart in age. You know, Neil, a young fine buck, and his father, Mark Sutherland, races here with CMS as well. Mark is one of our admins in our ACC chapter, and it's great to see fathers and sons like Mark Sutherland and Neil Sutherland run together. They've been a huge add for us to the community. Both of them just phenomenal members. And then Wayne, the experienced iRacer, runs a large community himself with the major series we talked about earlier. He's quite a bit older, probably might be old enough to be Neil's father himself. And here they are out here, turning identical lap times. Each time I look at their lap times, last time they both turned to 37.2, right? It's just identical. So
yeah, that's great.
It really is. And I do think, to your point, they're kind of working together where, I think they're helping each other make a lap time. Whereas up here, we've got Cameron Barker. These guys up front are, they are faster, right? So Cameron ran a 34.7. Michael Parker has faded a little bit. He ran a 36.6 last time. So, it could be a situation where Michael has just sort of realized his position and faded a little bit. He's not pushing quite a bit as Cameron is. Whereas Cameron still has an opportunity potentially to win the overall race with Skeptura just ahead. So, he's going to definitely be wanting to kind of vie for that at this point.
Right.
You could see Skeptura just ahead of him.
I don't know if you can hear it, but the official CMS color commentator is in the building. That's my cat Gandalf.
All right. I did hear a little bit of a chirp out of Gandalf, and hope he's enjoying the race.
I would say so.
He's our third man in the booth. And so Cameron Barker here, he's just kind of watching Skeptura in the distance there. Any issue out of Skeptura, and he'll be there, but it's going to definitely require Skeptura to have an issue. And you can see as we ride along Skeptura, he's got quite a bit of a dirty windshield in this car now. Watch him from the chopper. And Ryan, I don't know, is Mateo, is he running with us on Wednesday nights or in IRTES or?
I don't believe he's been with us on Wednesday nights. Although memorizing 60 drivers has been tricky lately. Yeah, I don't think so.
I know for sure he ran in this race last year, and he's got an A class in iRating and a 2000 iRating, so that tells us he's definitely got some iRacing tenure. But my apologies to him as well. I don't know that I know just how much he's racing with us regularly. And if he's not, we need to get him out on Wednesday nights or get him in the IRTES series that's upcoming. He, really holds a pretty wheel, and last year was a big contender in this race, and it looks like this year we'll have the opportunity to hoist the highest of the trophies.
Right. I do know that he is another one who's really active in ACC on Mondays.
There you go. So that explains a lot.
For iRacing, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if he does a whole lot in iRacing with us.
Yeah, maybe he's running with others in iRacing. But yeah, this is, we've got a couple of these guys, Neil Sutherland, Mateo, really representing that ACC group quite well here today.
Definitely. Making it look real easy to switch sims.
Mm-hmm. And we know Wayne Hutchinson, who we're on here with now, is one of our big R Factor 2 racers. I think maybe Brett Trosen. Mark Leclerc is another ACC driver. that's something we may have to consider too. I would love to figure out a way to host this race on one of the other platforms as well. But the reason we've done it with iRacing has simply been a matter of we can use the free content for the race, and it allows someone to get in literally at $0. As Wayne looks like he's really going to try a move here, but he's out of position. I don't think Neil's too worried about it.
Yeah, Neil knows where he can give up a little bit of ground and get away with it, and where he needs to cover the inside. Which is no small thing on a brand new track like this with so many turns.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot to learn.
I think to your point, it just shows the racecraft, right?
Yep.
That translates really everywhere. This is really a phenomenal run by both of these drivers. Go back inside here. A little bit different view from inside Wayne. Beautiful day here at Rudskogen Motorsports Center, and see the little top down on these Miatas, with their roll cages. These cars are very accurately modeled. Steering wheels are really cool in these Miatas. And you just got to keep them wound up. That's what you ride along here with Wayne Hutchinson. He's doing. No better race car to train, and don't know that you can ever perfect it in a Miata. But once you can learn how to drive a Miata and drive it fast, you can pretty much translate that into anything. That's why this Miata is the most popular race car in the world. Really is the most raced race car in the world.
And just strictly from an iRacing point of view, there are people, of course it's the rookie car, right? And there are people that signed up for iRacing, 12, 13 years ago, started driving Miatas, and haven't driven anything else since.
Mm-hmm.
And they're, A-level iRacers with, 4,000 or 5,000 iRating.
Yeah, it's phenomenal. And, they, like iRacing has the advanced Mazda series, which has got a really strong following. They've done quite a bit with iRacing around some of the esports programs. Some drivers, I know that are running an SRO and IMSA kind of came up through some of the programs in iRacing that were made available to them. So, Mazda just a phenomenal motorsports sponsor and participant, if you will, both at the virtual and the real world level. And they make it so accessible. They've got a great parts program in the real world for racers to get access to parts. They do a lot of contingency sponsorships with Sports Car Club of America and others, and it's kind of the race car for the everyday guy, right?
Absolutely.
Boy, look at this battle.
Yeah, about 5 minutes left in regulation here. If we're going to see something, it's going to have to happen pretty soon.
Yeah, and Wayne is starting to really kind of try everything he possibly knows to do here.
And is this the time you'd be thinking of, okay, let's, I want to set up a pass. I don't want to do it yet, but I want to get Neil thinking about it.
Yeah, absolutely. And folks, just an FYI, no change up front. We've still, in fact, I'll quickly go to that. We've got Matteo Sceptura here in first place. Out behind him, about 6 seconds back, is Cameron Parker. These are our two potential winners in the class and takers of the trophy. Michael Parker in third. Mark Leclerc in fourth. These drivers are spaced out a little bit. David James in fifth. And then we go to this battle. And this is where we've been staying because this has been the best race all day long. And I got to think Wayne's he's gonna try something. He's going to have to try something. He didn't make it this far not to try it, right? Well, and I should say make one big push Right? He's been trying the whole damn race. These two. This is one of the better races I've seen in a long time, actually. Just as far as separation factor has been tight. I don't think they've been further than a car length the entire race.
I'll borrow a phrase that you're quite fond of, David. You could throw a blanket over these two.
Yes, you could. I just don't think they... it wouldn't surprise me if they came to the line side by side here.
Yeah.
Got about, 7.5 minutes left in the race? I've got that right?
Probably about 5 in regulation to the white flag, and then a lap after that.
Yeah. Does not look like anybody is going to have to take a pit stop. Bud Holmes is on pit road right now. So here's Bud. Not sure why he's on pit road. It looks like he may have crashed. Let's see. This is his in-car. Just slow. So this could be a fuel issue where he had to just come in.
Could be.
Yeah. Maybe did not quite have the fuel that he wanted in the car. The Bud Holmes on pit road. He's been there for a while.
Just missed Wayne and Neil going side by side here through about a corner and a half. So Wayne is really pushing. We'll see how many tricks he's got stashed in the glove box.
Yep, he's going to have to dig deep in that box. But if anybody can do it, it's Wayne Hutchinson. This is not Wayne's first rodeo. Identical line through here.
Yep. Neil almost looked like he was backing up that corner a little bit. Trying to give himself some space, maybe.
Yeah, Neil has done a masterful job of staying calm in this setting.
Yep.
All the pressure here has been on him, and he has not blinked an eye. Both these guys have got to be pouring in sweat at this point. I hope everybody out there that's able to watch live, here it goes again, but he just doesn't have that position. He wants to get outside there, but he can't. Neil is definitely keeping the car where it's got to be. Kind of the only place it can be in a few of these spots.
Just got a Twitch message from Brett saying he had to reboot right before the start.
Oh.
He was still having issues, so he couldn't make the start.
Brett Stevens? Or Brett Trosen? Yeah.
Trosen, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, he was out there and ran for a little bit. It looks like Bud Holmes is now the second car to have retired. Oh, here goes Wayne. He's down. Boy. Here he goes again. I think he's going to have a run right here, Ryan.
Uh-huh.
Here he comes. Look, Wayne's decided he's going for it right now. Here he goes.
This is it. Ooh, yeah.
What a race, man! I might have to send the trophy to these two guys. When's the last time when we were able to focus on a battle for 5th and 6th place and we just couldn't come off of it, you know? And no disrespect to the others, right? They're driving a masterful race of their own, but this is where the action is, right?
Yep.
Little bit of brush into the brakes, you can see just ahead there with Neil. Wayne wants around him in the worst of ways, but he's gonna, it looks like Wayne is the pro that he is. He's gonna make sure he can do it clean. It's come this far, you don't want to get into the guy, right? Here he goes again, side by side. Neil is protecting that line. Wayne's going to have to make it work on the outside or try a crossover. Looks like Wayne gets another nice run here. He just can't quite get the fender where he wants it, Ryan, for it to be his corner, you know?
Yep. Yeah, he gets all sorts of momentum on entry and then just can't convert it. Neil just seems to just sort of slow it or back it right up from the apex.
Right.
Making it tough for Wayne to get around.
Are they going to get a white flag here? Couldn't tell if they did. I don't think so. That's Matteo Scaptura just behind them. There's Matteo. This is him coming now. I don't know that he got a white flag. He may have. There's Barker. And then a little bit further behind coming around. Let's see if Michael Parker maybe gets a white flag. I'm not seeing the flagman.
Yeah, I think you might be a little bit behind live, but don't advance.
Sure, maybe so. Yeah. Okay.
Just leave it.
And I certainly might be. But, yeah, we'll just stick with kind of my view since it's the view of record, right? Oh, and you know what? Look, he's gotten around him.
He has indeed.
He has. Let's go back and watch this. Here it is, right here. Side by side. Here they go, side by side, and Neil had to give it to him.
Yep, he had it.
Wayne got a run off going onto that long straightaway.
Set up and timed perfectly. And the important part is that he was able to get out and stay out in front.
Absolutely, yeah. And now he's kind of actually put a little bit of separation. So we'll use this as an opportunity here to go back to our leaders here. We'll come back and let you know if anything happens there. I'll be able to use the replay system if we miss it live. But this is Matteo Scaptura. 8-second lead. Looks like he has taken the win as he, or will take the win as he comes around here on the final part of his lap. Stay with him. Just a beautiful race that he drove. He was really patient with the Miatas early and really showed a terrific amount of patience to take the victory, and so congrats to him. Cameron Barker in second position, and he will be our second trophy winner. Michael Parker in third place, overall second in the Miatas. Here's Mark Leclerc coming around, I think, on a cool-down lap at this point, and nice run from him. And then the battle of the race was these two guys. Wayne Hutchinson did end up just narrowly taking the win over Neil, or the position over Neil Sutherland. And we'll go ahead back here real quickly and watch this pass. Here they are. They were side by side. Wayne had gotten a good run, and Neil, you can see a little bit of a bobble on his part. It's almost like he just drove it in a little too deep. The weight shifted more than it normally had there, and that opened the door for Wayne, who took the position for that just phenomenal race that we saw here in the event. Ryan, wow, what a small field, but a lot of action in this one.
Well, sometimes good things come in small grid sizes.
Yeah, for sure. So just really enjoyed bringing this one to you all, and a huge congratulations to everyone that participated, first and foremost, everyone that supported CMS in the donation drive and throughout the year. And let's talk to our winner. I think that we've got Matteo Sceptura here. Matteo, can you hear us?
Yep, got you guys loud and clear.
Hey, congratulations. Close last year, but this year you brought it home.
Yeah, it was a little unfortunate that Mark hasn't booted up iRacing since last year, so he forgot that you have to press grid up at the beginning.
Yep, that's what we thought happened. We noticed, we caught it. Took us a little while to realize why he was so far back in the standings at the start of the race, and that was exactly what happened, what you just described. He missed the start, started from pit road, and still drove a phenomenal race of his own. He was finished in 4th position overall, but by that point, really all you needed to do was be patient with the two Miatas, and it took you a while. Looked like you were behind Michael Parker for 30 minutes there before you could get around him.
Yeah, I wasn't, with Mark being so far behind, I wasn't too concerned about getting past either of their Miatas, and they were having a pretty good battle of their own up there, so I didn't want to stick my nose in and ruin that by any means. So I was just being patient. And then, like you said, right about the 30-minute mark, it looked like Michael's tires started to fall off, and I was really gaining on him through a couple of the corners, so decided to pick my way through.
Yeah, and then once that happened, you got up to Cameron, and it was pretty quick work you made of him, and we kind of felt like the GR86 could turn a little bit faster lap time if it had the track position that it needed, and you showed that with just a fastest lap of the race, and actually you ran the only lap down in the 33s, a 33.929. That was the fastest lap of the race, and just really didn't put a wheel wrong in the thing. Ryan, I know you enjoyed watching him. Any questions from Matteo?
No, that was a clinic and really clean, consistent driving. Really good to watch.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah,
definitely was a pleasure being here.
Yeah, so tell us, and apologies to you. We were commenting in the broadcast here about how it looks like you've got about a 2,000 I rating and an A license, but we haven't seen you in our iRacing events, and so unless we're missing you some sort of way, but I can't imagine we'd be missing someone with your talent. So, tell us a little bit about your involvement, not just with iRacing, but here at CMS.
Yeah, so you're not wrong. I don't do a ton of iRacing with CMS. I did the IRTES last year in a P2 car, but I was only there for, I think, 2 races. So pretty easy to blink and miss me, and we had some pretty forgettable results in that series. But I'm very involved with the Monday ACC chapter. That's where I spend most of my time, is over there with Josh Staffen and his group of misfits.
Yeah, that's a great group. That's probably our funnest, loving group of racers here, and you guys have such a great thing going on Mondays, and Josh and the team there do a phenomenal job. And I tell you what, you ACC guys have held your own in this event for sure. So talent translates.
To an extent. I was gonna say, I think if you put either Michael or Cameron in the Toyota, they would have been long gone way ahead of us. So
yeah, those are 2 guys that you can definitely feel good about finishing ahead of, because they are certainly top tier iRacers for sure, and they had a good battle of their own for a little while there, and it looked like Michael faded some, and may have just kind of given up the fight once he knew that Cameron was gonna be might be unattainable. Well, Mateo, thanks for joining us. Congratulations. I will be getting with you soon. You've got a trophy coming your way, and we can't wait to put your name on it and send it to you. And thank you so much for being here at CMS, and thank you for supporting us. And congratulations on a really cool win today.
Yeah, appreciate it. Thanks a lot, and just can't thank you guys enough here at CMS for, being the class act that you guys are, putting on so many different facets of racing on basically every day of the week. It's really like a second home to me. So thank you guys and everyone else who's a part of and supporting CMS.
You're welcome, and we'll put your name up there in our history books. Third annual winner of the race overall in the GR86 class. That's Matteo Sceptura, and we'll get with you on the trophy, and phenomenal result. Have a great rest of your day. Enjoy the Super Bowl if you watch it.
Yeah, thanks. You guys too.
Okay, congrats, Matteo.
Thanks.
So, Ryan, I don't know that we're going to get Cameron Barker. Have not seen him in here yet, but Cameron ended up being our winner in the MX5 category, and boy, what a phenomenal race he drove. He was on the pole for the race overall, and never waffled from that position, other than to let Sceptura by because he didn't have a fight in that conversation that was worth taking any risk. But
Right.
great result for Cameron, and great to see him get that win and get that trophy. One he can be proud of. And wow, I tell you, I can't help but go back to that battle again. I'll let you say a few words about that battle we saw between Wayne and Neil that we just couldn't get off of before we close up for the day.
Oh yeah, such a privilege to watch two very respectful and talented racers just go at it for an hour. A little bit of back and forth, but it was really Wayne pursuing Neil for the vast majority of that race, and quite comfortable being back there, just hanging out, biding his time, picking his moment, and did the old I'll let you lead for most of the race and pass you right up at the end.
That's exactly what he did, and I think that shows kind of the old Wiseman, if you will, of Wayne, and he just kind of waited for the perfect time. He put enough pressure on Neil, but boy, Neil can hang his head high. This was his first iRacing event that we're aware of. You can see on the standings, a rookie 2.4 rating and brand new to the sim. Neil drove a phenomenal race, so I loved bringing it, and I loved having you here with me. I hope the guys will enjoy going back and watching it that participated.
For sure, always a pleasure, David.
Yeah, thank you, Ryan. Well, let's do a quick recap of the finishing standings, and then we'll wrap up here. So, congrats again to all the drivers that participated, and even bigger congrats to everyone that supported us in the donation drive. We will have a raffle that we'll be posting the results of here in the next couple of days. I may do a fun little video to announce that for everyone, so stay tuned for that to wrap up our activities for the 2023 donation drive. And again, a huge thanks to everybody that was a part of it and helps us keep our wheels turning. So Brett Trosen, 11th place today, had some issues that were technical in nature. Bud Holmes in P10, Pierre Robitaille in P9, Danny LePage in P8, Neil Sutherland in P7, Wayne Hutchinson in P6, and then our top five, we had a good mixture of GR86s and Toyota and Miatas in the top five. David James with a phenomenal run. Mark Leclerc, who was our biggest mover in the race after starting from pit road after an issue that he had. Michael Parker on the overall podium. Cameron Barker in second position and the winner of the trophy in the MX5 category. And then you all heard from Matteo Sceptura the overall winner of the race and the trophy winner for the GR86. So we will wrap up. We'll get this posted for everyone to enjoy, both on the Twitch channel and YouTube. We look forward to doing it again next year. And everyone enjoy Sunday, enjoy the Super Bowl, and Ryan, another fun one.
Oh yeah, I can't wait for the one next year.
Absolutely, and thank you for being with me. And for Ryan and myself, we'll sign off for now. From Rudskogen Motorsport, beautiful track in iRacing. Go download it and use one of these free cars if you haven't already, and get out and turn some laps. And we will see you guys next time. Good day,
See
everyone.
y'all later.
Bye bye.